Okay, so it's not that much of a difference actually. This is a little bit safer because the roll is spread out over various dice instead of just 2 dice. You have 3 dice with this. So I think I'm going to use the force missile. So I'm going to get to use my arcane die, which is this D12 plus 2 modifier, and then I get to use 2 D4 dice as well. And since this is Seoni, instead of discarding this force missile card, she actually gets to recharge it automatically. She doesn't have to roll anything. That's her special ability. Any arcane trait cards are or spells are immediately recharged. So okay, let's make this roll. We have a D12, 2 D4s, and a +2 modifier. That is 5, 8, 9. I don't know if you can see this. The D4s are kind of difficult to see, but that's a, there you go. That's a roll of 9 plus 2 is 11, so that's fine. The Goblin Commando is now banished. Sadly, you do not get anything from defeating monsters in this game, but that's the way it works. So, I did forget to draw up to my hand size here, so I have to do this. I was a little bit worried about the undead skeleton, but here we go. Valeris draws up to his hand size, which is 4. And then we have to do the same for Seoni, since this is her turn is over. She has 3 cards, so she draws 3 more cards. And we get a Potion of Fortitude and 2 Blessings of the Gods. Alright, then we move on. It's Kyra's turn, and we once again move the add another blessing here, advance the turn counter, and this is a Blessing of Shellin. Discard this card to add 2 dice to non-combat wisdom check. We could use one of our Blessing of Gods to copy this to actually get this effect if we want to. So Kyra will not be giving a card to Seoni. She doesn't have anything to give her. She will not move. I think it's fine where she is. And now we have to decide if we want to explore or not. Alternatively, we could try to heal Seoni, giving her some cards back. The thing is, Seoni is the one that needs spells the most, I think. And we haven't actually found that many spells here, even though there are 5 spells in this stack. So I think most of the cards left here are actually spells. And well, they are at the same location, so she could give these spells to Seoni if she wants to, but yeah, actually let's just go for it. Let's explore with her. So let's take the first free exploration here, and that is Detect Magic. So let's see. Discard this card to examine the top card of your location deck. If the card is a blessing or has the magic trait, you may immediately encounter it. Otherwise, return it to the top of the deck. If you do not have either the arcane or divine skill, banish this card. And then for the recharge, this is wrong. This is a misprint. Succeed at an arcane or divine 14 check to recharge this card instead of discarding. Divine or a check of 14 is pretty difficult to manage, but this is a misprint. It should be a check of 4. You can find this on Paizo's forums. There were some people that were kind of well, they questioned why this should have 14. This is not that powerful. It's an okay card, but it's not that powerful. And the answer was that this is just a misprint. It should be 4. So yeah, she now encounters this, and check to acquire. As you can see here, this is very easy to acquire. That's why people were reacting to this 14 recharge down here. Intelligence, Arcane, Wisdom, or Divine. And you need 2 to successfully do this. For Kyra, we have Divine, Wisdom +2, so she doesn't even have to roll. This is an automatic acquired card for her. So she now takes this Detect Magic. And since this was her first exploration and she encountered a spell, she doesn't get 1 extra free exploration, but we can now use this Detect Magic card that we got. So I will be using this. I will use this spell to take a look at the top card here. That is Boots of Elvenkind. And it's clothing and magic, and the Detect Magic said that if it is magic we can automatically encounter this and get this card if we are successful in our check here. This card has reveal this card to add 1 die to your acrobatics check. Recharge this card to succeed at your stealth check. So let's try this. It's difficulty of 5, dexterity or acrobatics. This is pretty bad for Kyra because she's neither dexterous nor does she have the acrobatic skill. I don't know that any character would actually want this card, so I don't think I will be wasting any blessings on it. It's an okay card, I guess, but nothing special, so I will just choose to fail this. And every boon that you fail is banished immediately, so this now goes back to the box. The Detect Magic, we can now try to recharge it instead of discarding, and like I said, it's supposed to be Divine 4 check, not Divine 14. Kyra's Divine die is a D12 and she gets +2 modifier, so we need to roll 2, at least 2 here, so let's see. That's actually exactly 2, so she just barely manages to recharge this, so this now goes back down at the bottom of the deck. Let's see, she has 5 cards still. We could try to use, actually I should have looked through Seoni's cards if I wanted to discard extra cards. That was pretty stupid of me. I should have taken a look at if she had something that wasn't relevant for this particular stage in the game, but alright, let's move on. Let's see, this guy does not let you explore, he stops damage. We could use this Blessing of the Gods to actually explore again, and I think I will be doing that, since the Academy location is actually pretty safe. It has 1 monster, 1 barrier in it, so we have already encountered a barrier, and I think we have encountered the monster as well, so there's only boon cards left here, so this is not that dangerous. On the other hand, if you keep burning through these blessings, you will not be able to add dice to your rolls. So if you find something that you really want, if you do not have blessings, you will not be able to get that item. But the other 2 characters can actually help with the checks that Kyra would be having during these encounters. So I will actually discard this blessing and go for another exploration. And of course I remembered incorrectly. Well, no, I didn't. This is the henchman. Alright, so yeah, I didn't. So this is the bandit henchman. So we know that the villain is not at the academy. That's for certain, since we got this henchman. This is a human bandit. Before the encounter, recharge a card of your choice from your hand. Remember, this is a special rule for the Bringandoom scenario, which says if a monster's power causes you to recharge a card, draw a card after doing so. So now Kyra gets to recharge something, and that something will be, I think the guard, actually, yeah. She will recharge the guard, and then she will draw a new card, which is another blessing of the gods. And then we get to face this bandit. Check to defeat, combat check of 8. So let's see, sadly she has no offensive spells and no, she doesn't have any weapons as well. We need to find a mace for her so she will be able to take care of these henchmen and bandits and such. So instead we are going to use her melee die, which is a d6 plus 2 modifier. So let's put that in the pool here, but that will not be enough actually. That's not gonna work. That's only a roll of 6 will be successful. She does have the guidance to add 1 additional if she wants to do that, but I think since Seoni has 2 of these blessings, she will help out with 1 of them. So she will discard this blessing to add another die to the roll here. So there will be, let's see, another d6 like that. So now we have 2 d6 for our roll. So let's see. That's 8 plus 2 is 10. So that's easily passed. Check. The bandit is banished, and since this was a henchman from the location deck, we get to immediately attempt to close this location if we want to. But like I already talked about, I think there are no Bane cards left there. These are just boon cards, so these are just spells and items left in the deck. I don't think I want to close that. I want to quickly explore that location and actually get those cards for myself. So I think I'm going to pass on doing that. So now Kyra's turn is over. She has 4 cards left. These are all okay, I guess, so I will not be discarding. So she just draws 1 additional card, and this is another spell here. It's an aid spell. Discard this card to add 1d6 to a check. So as you can see, Kyra is very supportive. She heals, she adds to checks, and she helps out the other players. That's her role here. So that's great. That was a good card. So that was Kyra's turn, and now we go back to Valeris. We have now taken 1 turn with all of our characters, and you have probably seen most of the different abilities and skills of the characters. So I think from now on I will not be showing the character sheet cards to the camera. I will just say that, for instance, for Valeris, if he needs to roll dexterity, I will just say it's a 1d8 or something like that. It takes quite a lot of time to actually show this to the camera. Also for the subcategories like arcane, divine, melee skills, diplomacy and such, I will just say I will just say like this is charisma, which is for Valeris it's a d6, and then he has a +2 modifier. So yeah, let's hope that we can speed this up a little bit. Hope that you have an overview of how the game plays out and what you are supposed to do in the game. Let's hope we can get through this scenario and defeat the evil villain that's lurking in one of these locations. Alright, so we move on. Valeris' turn. He gets one of these blessings again. This is another one. It's just add 2 dice to a non-combat charisma check. So it's not anything that special. He will not be giving cards to anyone. He will not be moving. And he will take his first exploration here. And that is a skeleton. Great. Again with these undead. It's an undead skeleton, a basic monster. Check to defeat, combat of 8. The skeleton is immune to mental and poison traits. If you check to defeat, the skeleton has either the slashing or piercing trait. The difficulty to defeat is increased by 3. This is once again that undead trait that we have seen from the other undead monster that appeared sadly he only has these slashing weapons, so he will reveal his long sword, which means revealing actually counts as playing a card, so this is playing one weapon for his turn, but you don't have to discard or recharge it. He reveals this to add his melee die. Let's see, that's a d10 if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a d10 with a modifier of +3, and then he gets an additional d8. The monster had a check of 8, +3 from the undead trait, which makes it to 11. So we have to roll combined roll of 8 on these two dice, which is I think it's okay. Alternatively, we could use the aid card from Kyra to aid with another d6, but she does have the guidance spell as well, so I think, yeah. Let's see, at this location, if you would discard an ally, so there's nothing extra special here. I don't know, this is sort of risky, but I think I'm... Yeah, actually I'm gonna... Kyra is going to aid Valeris here. So she's gonna use her aid card. This card is called to add a d6 to a check. So he now has another die for his check. And then she can attempt to recharge this instead of discarding it. It's a divine 8 check. Her divine dice is a d12 +2. So let's hope for a 6 or higher here. And that's an 11, so she recharges her skill. And now Valeris gets to throw his dice here. He has a +3 modifier. That's 10, 12 +3 is 15, that's enough. The check was 11. Sometimes when you roll and get these high numbers, you think that that extra die is not that important, but without the extra die, this is probably a 50-50 situation. I didn't quite do the math, but I think it's a 50-50 to succeed, and that's not a chance I would like to take this early on, because he could get to discard his entire hand if he's unlucky. But he manages to defeat this monster, just a normal monster. The farmhouse has 3 monsters and a barrier plus a henchman / villain in it, so it's a fairly dangerous location, but it's the only location that has well, it's one of the 2 locations that have weapons. So yeah, I think it's still a good place for Valeris at the beginning of the game. So now was his first free exploration. He will now discard this Blessing of the Gods to explore again. So let's go for... oh my god, it's another monster. It's all of these monsters are congregating against me. It's a Goblin Warrior Elite. It's a Goblin Warrior. Check to defeat, combat 9. If undefeated, bury 1 random item or weapon from your discard pile. Let's see if we have any of these. Yeah, we have these thieves' tools, which would not be that bad. So once again, he reveals his long sword, which is his... he gets to roll his melee die, which is a d10 +3 modifier, plus he gets a d8, and we are in the same situation. We need a combined roll of 6 here. Yeah, I'm gonna chance it this time. We do have the guidance from Kyra if in case we do need 1 extra for our roll. So let's chance it. It's a d10 and d8. And that's a combined roll of 10 +3, it's 13, so that's quite enough to defeat this monster. So he was successful. Valeris cannot do anything else, and I actually think... well, we still haven't encountered the barrier, so this mattock can actually be quite useful while fighting off the barrier. especially if it's a combat check barrier. So yeah, I think he keeps all of these and he just draws one extra card. And that is a dog slicer. It's another extra weapon that he got from the last time we did this adventure. It's basically like the other weapons. It's almost the same. Add some extra dice and you can recharge it. Yeah, that was Valeris' turn, so now we move on. It's now Seoni, and she draws a Blessing of Eratsil. That's to dexterity, so we have to keep in mind if we need to check dexterity, she can use that blessing. She will not move, she will not give anything to Kyra, I think. Nope, she doesn't have anything to give her. And then she will use her first free exploration here. And that is Enfeeble. So let's see. Discard this card to evade a monster. Return it to the top of the deck. If you do not have the arcane skill, banish this card. Check to acquire intelligence or arcane and the check of 6. And this is a decent card actually. So I might spend some extra dice to actually do this. The arcane is a d12 plus 2 modifier, and we need 6. Well, that's actually quite... yeah, I think I'm gonna chance it. We still have the guidance from Kyra. I keep saying that, but that's because it actually does matter. She makes the other characters able to take these chances, especially when you are performing these checks that you can modify by your specialized skills. So let's hope for at least a 4 here, so we don't have to. Well, if we roll a 3, Kyra can actually help us, but let's hope for a 4 or higher here. And that's a 6, so that's fine. We managed to take this Enfeeble card and counter it successfully. Let's see. Yeah, I think since we have the Scorching Ray, she's... well, actually, there are no more monsters in the location, I think. So she will use this blessing to take another exploration here. Let's see. There is Inflict. This is a divine card. Check to acquire Wisdom or Divine of 6. For your combat check, discard this card to roll your divine die plus 1d6 with the magic trait. Okay, so that's a pretty good card for Kyra. Wisdom for Seoni, let's see, that's a d12. No, that's a d6 actually. Oh man, that's bad. Ha! Check to acquire 6. So she only has a d6 in her dice pool at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, Kyra will add her blessing to this roll, so she now gets an additional d6, and she can still use her spell if something goes wrong. And Valeris cannot add anything. Seoni does not have... yeah, Seoni doesn't have anything to add. Yeah, she doesn't have anything to add. Alright, so let's hope for the best here. These are just 2d6s, we don't have any modifiers, but we do have the guidance left. Ah, that's bad. That's a combined roll of 3. Unfortunately, failure, so this card now gets banished. Would have been good for Kyra to actually get that card, but we only had 2 dice here, so I didn't think that would be feasible. Okay. Seoni cannot do much else, so she will now discard. She will discard... she will actually discard 3 here and draw 4 more cards. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and she now only has, I think, 3 or 4 cards left in her card pool, so we have to be a little bit careful here. She drew invisibility, it's an evasion, which is good when she's so low on health, and then 2 allies, the troubadour, which adds to dexterity or charisma, or the grizzled mercenary, which adds to combat checks, as well as the guide, which adds to survival or makes you able to explore again. So, okay, that was Seoni's turn. We now move to Kyra here. It's another blessing of Eratsil. And yeah, Seoni only has 3 cards left in her pool. Kyra has actually used quite a few cards during the other player's turn. So I think you can actually use the cure in response to if a character would deck themselves, as long as you're at the same location. But okay. Let's see. Should Kyra explore? There are 2 cards left here. Actually, it's best if Seoni explores the last card, because she can attempt to close the academy with her arcane die. Otherwise, Kyra would have to use just a d6 to do that. So I think... yeah, I think for her first action here, she will explore again. That is yet another detect magic, and just the same like last time. She doesn't have to roll, she just acquires this. And I don't know if I want to use this right now. Because if I do and I get to take that card, let's see, it's you may, so actually this could be good. If it is a magic card that needs arcane, I will let Seoni do it. But if it's a magic card that could be done with divine, I could actually take that card and then let Seoni close the location later. So yeah, I will for my second action here, I will use this detect magic to check the top card here. That is acid arrow, and that is intelligence and arcane, and I will not attempt this, even though it's an easy check to acquire. I could probably pass it, but I will not be attempting this. I will let Seoni take that. So now this. We have to roll if this is recharged or discarded. Let's see, it's divine 4. Her divine dice is a d12 plus 2, so we need a 2. That's a 12. So that's immediately recharged down here. And she will... I'm thinking about using this cure, because I think that only when you perform checks that you are limited by amount of spells that you can play. So for a specific check you can only play 1 spell, but for different checks you could play 1 spell for each of the checks, and the same should be the case for different powers or different actions. So even though I have played a detect magic, I think I should be able to play a cure as well during this turn. So I will be doing this. It says reveal this card and choose a character at your location. Shuffle 1d4 plus 1 random cards from his discard pile into his deck, then discard this card. Okay, so let's do that. Let's roll a d4. Ah, that's bad. It's a roll of 1. So only 2 random cards. So we now take Seoni's discard pile here, and let's shuffle it a bit. Okay, so now she gets 2 cards back. And then we have to shuffle her deck. Okay, so that's her deck now. She does have 2 extra cards. And then we can attempt to recharge this with a Divine 8 check. So once again, it's a D12 plus 2. That's a 6 plus 2 is an 8, just enough to recharge our skill here. So alright, that was Kyra's turn. She has 2 cards left. She has to draw 3 additional cards. She will keep both of these, by the way. And that's finally a mace, 2 mace. 2 maces here. But now we can actually attempt to kill some of the monsters without adding extra dice to our dice pool. So that's good. So that was Kyra's turn, and now we move on to Valeris. This is a Blessing of Calistria. This is non-combat dexterity once again. And Valeris will not move, not give cards, he will explore. There is a Potion of Gracefulness. Check to acquire intelligence or craft of 6. This is not a specifically powerful card, so I will not add anything. His intelligence is a D6. I think, yeah, it's a D6. So let's see, that's a 4. Failed. So this now gets banished. So that was his free exploration. He doesn't have anything to add to it. I could give play a blessing on him from the other guys, but I don't think I want to do that. I think that you can do that. I think that I can give him a blessing to explore, but he's not going to do that. So that was his quick turn. I don't think he will... Actually, he could discard something here. Yeah. These many weapons are not that great. The chainmail isn't that important actually, but I think I will discard the Madoc. That's fine, I guess. So he then gets another card here. Yeah, obviously it's another armor here. Great. That's Valeris. So now we will move on, and it's Seoni. It's Blessing of Pharasma, which is add 2 dice when you play a spell. Great. Seoni. These are her cards. She will use her first free exploration here. Explore this acid arrow, which is just like an arcane missile, except this is poisonous, or it has acid trait. And to check to acquire is intelligence or arcane of 4. Her arcane checks are a D12 plus 2, so let's do that, unmodified. That's a 12 plus 2, she gets this immediately. And this location is now cleared of all the cards. So it says, when closing, succeed at an intelligence or arcane 6 check to close. On closing, you may shuffle a spell from your discard pile into your deck. So that's good. I think she has a spell or 2 in here. Actually, she doesn't. Yeah, that's true. She immediately recharges her spells, so she doesn't have any discarded spells, but that's not all that important. So to close, arcane 6 check, D12 plus 2 again. We could add to this to really close this, but she doesn't have anything actually. Yeah, she doesn't have anything to add herself, and I don't think the other players have either. We still have the guidance. Well, we do have a blessing, but I think I'm going to keep this blessing. So we have this guidance. if we need it, but let's hope for the best here. And that's a 4, that's just enough. So that's 4 plus 2 is 6. So now this academy is closed, and you flip it over, and then you get some flavor text here. It says, the academy serves as a place of learning for those who study the deeper secrets of the world, whether the wonders of the modern world, forgotten histories, or the mysteries of the arcane arts. Wise professors are always willing to share their counsel with those who take the time to listen, and wise students will often sell a scroll or two to those who know how to ask. Actually, wily students, not why. There's a part of the L missing there. So, but yeah, this is now closed. So you can still go to that location if you want to, but nothing happens. Some of the locations actually have some extra ability when they are closed. The main reason for closing locations is so that the villain cannot escape to them. So okay, that was Seoni's turn. Now she has to discard down to her hand size. She has 7 cards. And let's see, we don't need 2 of these. We don't need 2 of these spells, I think. I think I'm gonna keep... I think I'm gonna keep the invisibility. It has 1 additional trait, actually. So yeah, I'm gonna discard the enfeeble, and then I'm gonna discard the troubadour. And the mercenary. No, wait, maybe. This is difficult. Maybe the acid arrow. No, I need that. I'm gonna discard this guy. So yeah, 3 cards. When you discard from your hand, you don't get to recharge the spells. So you just simply discard this, and then she gets to draw 2 new cards. We do have to be a little bit careful here, but this is what I was looking for, a blessing. That's why I discarded 1 extra card. So we now have 3 attack spells and some evasion and extra exploration and a blessing. So it's a fairly good hand for Seoni. It's now Kyra's turn. The question is now if Kyra should start exploring or if Kyra should try to once again heal Seoni, and I think she will try to heal Seoni here. And even though, well, this is one of her special powers, I think I've talked about this. She has, instead of your first exploration, you may reveal a card with the divine trait and shuffle 1d4 plus 1 random cards from the discard pile. So I think actually revealing does count as playing, so she could attempt to recharge this, but I am a little bit uncertain. I'm gonna try and find out. Alright, so this is a little bit tricky actually. To be able to recharge, you have to use something on the card to be able to actually have a chance at recharging this card. And since the Kyra's power says that you reveal a card but you don't actually use anything on this card, you just reveal a card with a divine trait, and then she can use her power to heal. So you don't get a chance at recharging. So if I were to reveal guidance, I have to discard guidance and I cannot recharge it. The question then is, should I maybe reveal the blessing of the gods instead? And I think, let's see, she has 2 blessings. Yeah, 2 blessings in her discard pile. This would be the 3rd, so she has 3 blessings left in her deck. Yeah, alright, sure. Let's reveal the blessing. It has the divine trait here. So she will reveal that and discard, and then we get to roll a d4 plus 1 to once again try and shuffle some cards into Seoni's deck here. Ah, again a 1. Terrible rolling. I hate the d4s. D4s always mess me up. But let's see here. Again, you have to shuffle the discard pile to choose something randomly. This is not going that well actually. I was hoping to be able to recharge more, but let's see. We take 2 cards here from Seoni's discard pile, and then we shuffle these in, and she again has 5 cards left only in her deck, which is a little bit on the low side. Okay, Kyra should finish her turn here. We will discard one of these mace cards that we have. We keep the guidance mace and the chain shirt, so she gets 2 new cards, and these are 2 blessings, which is good. But then we have to be careful discarding these blessings, because now she only has 1 blessing left in the deck. And then she would probably have to heal herself to get these blessings back into the deck. So alright, that was Kyra. Let's move on. It's now Valeris again. He will not move, and he will use his free exploration here to explore. That's a mercenary. Again, it's a monster. I've kind of lost track of the monsters. A good practice is to try and remember, or actually maybe write down. I do have to advance the turn counter here as well, so let's not forget that. It's Blessing of Torag. You can add to non-combat strength checks with that blessing. This is a mercenary. It's a human warrior veteran. Check to defeat a combat of 10. The difficulty to defeat the mercenary is increased by the adventure deck number of the current scenario, if any. The adventure or the scenario adventure deck number is up here. This is a B for basic, so this doesn't have a number, so nothing happens here. Okay, so that's a difficulty check of 10. It's not resistant to anything. The question now becomes, is the longsword enough, or should we use the dog slicer and recharge it for extra dice? And I think we will be doing that. So this is the strength or melee die plus 1d6. For Valeris, that's a melee dice. It's a d10 plus 2. Let's see, it's a d10, and then a d6, and then I will discard this card as well to add another d6 to the roll. But since this is Valeris, he gets to recharge the weapon instead of discarding it. So you put it at the bottom of the deck here. Hopefully you can move a little bit faster now. So now we have to roll a combined roll of at least 7, since he has a +3 modifier on his melee dice. Let's see. That's enough. That's a roll of 12. Mercenary defeated. And he has no other cards to help him explore. He will discard this wooden shield as well. And then draw 2 new cards here. That's the standard bearer and the short sword +1. Which isn't that great of a weapon. It's okay. Okay, that was Valeris. We move on. Seoni next. Blessing of Irori. Seoni will move now, and I will be back shortly.